Hey guys, it's Will with Vinyl Appreciation Society. Well, we're back with another unboxing. It's been a hot minute since I did one of these. In part because honestly, I'm just broke as hell right now. I'm not ordering a lot of records. And Logan has been kind of carrying the burden of doing the unboxing videos. So thank you to Logan. So there's a really interesting story behind this record. And I will tell you part of it before I open it. And then we can talk about it more once I open it. But so we recently did a studio episode on this album. And Chris came in. And it was Chris bought the album for my son when he was pretty young, like less than a year old. And so it was like, I think it was like either the first or second record that my son got was this record that Chris gave him. And so I listened to the record a lot, and Chris is very familiar with the record, and so we shot an episode on it. And an uncle of mine, so I have to preface this by saying my mom was from the UK. She was born in London, and she grew up there, like Essex, East London kind of area, and then moved to the US when she was in her like late 20s, I think. Obviously, I was born in the US, as you can tell by my accent. But so my mom's whole family lives in the UK, and she's got a bunch of siblings, and I have a ton of cousins. And so we have a big family over there. And so my uncle, among a number of other members of my English family, watches the stuff that we post on Facebook. If you go to the Terrible Infant Facebook page, you can find stuff there. And he sent me a message after we posted the video on this particular record and said, I have a copy of that record that I would like to send to you. So give me your address, etc., etc. So we did that, and here it is, and we're going to bust this open, and I'll tell you one more fun fact about this record. And then this is not, so since my uncle just sent this from his house, I don't know if it's multi-layered packaging, and we don't know if we're going to need a razor. So I'm just going to start opening, and then we might have to cut if we need to get a knife of some kind, or a samurai sword, or whatever you might want to open this with. Do you like that Friends episode where they don't want to stop throwing the ball? If we have any Friends fans watching, that's a fun episode, right?
Great episode. The Chandler ruined it.
Classic Chandler. Ms. Chandler Bong, you mean? What is Chandler's job? Yes, Jan, I know what time it is.
What is his job?
He does data processing for a large multinational corporation, right? Isn't that that's what he finds out when he does the career assessment? You are ideally suited for a career. And that's when he finds out that you can see his nipples through the shirt. Okay. Isn't that episode? Fair warning, I love Friends. And this always surprises people because I listen to death metal, and I don't know, I like Godard, Kurosawa and stuff like that. And it blows people's minds that I'm a big Friends fan, but I have seen the whole series all the way through several times. Oh, we're getting to it. I see it. This is, I think, our most intense packaging yet.
By far.
But this is good because, often when I get records from the UK, they're dinged up. And, the vinyl itself is not damaged, but the sleeve gets dinged up. All right, here we go. So, if you watch the show, you probably already know what this is because I gave you ample hints. So here we go, Rock and Roll Animal. This is Lou Reed, live in the early 70s, I think. And so he got together this full band, and he did like a full-blown kind of glam, like David Bowie sound. There's dueling lead guitars. As my dad told me recently, very recently, like a couple days ago, the two guitarists on this show, the guitar players for Alice Cooper's band. So Sweet Jane is on here, Heroin, White Light, White Heat, Lady Day, and Rock and Roll. This is a gatefold release here. It's interesting because I'm assuming that this is the UK version since my uncle in the UK sent this to me. And what Chris, made in Great Britain. And the version that we did on the show was probably an American version, and the paper stock is different. which is really interesting. So here we go. This is a really cool label. Look how orange it is. Maybe you can hear the cat over there. We're having some cat activity in the background. So the other interesting fact that I was going to tell you about this record is that, according to my uncle, this used to belong to my mom, or he thinks it did. And that is really, really interesting to me because I don't have any kind of like music passed down to me from my mom. And when I was a kid, I mostly remember my mom listening to like classical music on the radio, and she would always sing along to Another Brick in the Wall by Pink Floyd if that was on the radio, and she liked John Lennon, like his solo stuff. If that came on the radio, she would listen to that, sing along, and she had like a cassette of like the best of John Lennon. But other than that, I don't remember her ever really like listening to a ton of music. The one other thing she would listen to is another one of my uncles is a huge Billy Bragg fan, and he would make her Billy Bragg mixtapes and send those, and we would listen to those. But so it's really interesting to think that this was my mom's album and that she was into Lou Reed. We do have a photograph of her somewhere wearing a David Bowie shirt because my dad and my mom, if I remember correctly, when they were living in London, saw the last show on the Spiders from Mars tour, which is pretty freaking cool. So there you have it. So this is a British edition. I'm not sure. 1974. So maybe this is a first pressing. That used to belong to my mom, I guess, or was my mom's at some point, and sent over by my uncle in the UK, Lou Reed, Rock and Roll Animal.